First for the Titans of Indiana University, South Bend. The libero, a sophomore, number 1, Whitney Geisinger. Junior setter, number 2, Courtney Gamble. Junior outside hitter, number 12, Amber Jacobs. Senior middle hitter, number 7, Julie Brown. Junior setter, number 5, McKenna Powell. Senior outside hitter, number 4, Alexis Kissick. And senior middle hitter, number 8, Hannah Marshall. The Titans are coached by Miss Jamie Ashmore. And now, the starting lineup for your Fighting Saints. Tonight's libero, a junior from Schaumburg, Illinois, number 12, Gabby Paelmo. A senior outside hitter from Lapeer, Michigan, number 6, Brooklyn Whitney. A junior middle hitter from Westchester, Illinois, number 15, Stephanie Woods. A freshman outside hitter from Joliet, Illinois, number 2, Desiree Anderson. A senior outside hitter from St. Anne, Illinois, number 4, Taylor Vallant. A senior middle hitter from Plainfield, Illinois, number 20, Lauren Stefanski. And a junior setter from Bloomington, Illinois, number 8, Alexis Angst. Fighting Saints are coached by Kara Courier.
Good evening from the Sullivan Center and the campus of the University of St. Francis in Joliet, Illinois. Welcome to CCAC Volleyball. The Fighting Saints today go up against the Titans of Indiana South Bend. Terry Bonadonna with you along for the next couple of hours as St. Francis maybe will try to make it a little bit less than a couple of hours. Both teams will, I suppose, but first things first, get game number 1. The Saints come in after a big win on Tuesday night. They defeated Governor State in straight sets, whereas Indiana South Bend comes in hot as well. They've also won their last game in straight sets, and they will serve first tonight as we're underway. Courtney Loniger gets the first serve of the match. Desiree Anderson looking for the first kill of the match, but it is returned, and it's Jacobs, Amber Jacobs of IUSB, picking up the first point. Nice hit from Jacobs. Indiana South Bend off and running here this evening. Next serve from Loniger is played by Taylor Vallant on the back line. Here's Anderson flying high and picking up the point. Desiree Anderson gets her first point of the night and the Saints' first point of the night. The serve belongs to the Saints junior libero, Gabby Paelmo. Paelmo out of bounds. Hannah Marchand watched that one go. Looked like for an instant she thought about playing it. Decided not to. It was the right decision as the ball drifted out of bounds by 6 to 9 inches or so. Trying to be exact. Alexis Angst to Anderson. Tipped at the net, and I think Anderson went into the net. And so the net violation on Desi Anderson makes it 3-1 IUSB. The team from South Bend comes in with a record of 4-2. They've only played 6 matches so far this season, fewer than most teams. Taylor Valent goes to the back corner and gets it in. Valent has her first kill of the night. The Saints have their second point of the night. And the sophomore Hannah Pacheco comes in to serve. This is a rescheduled matchup. Originally, these two teams were slated to meet in late January. Set up and pushed over by Julie Brown, but the Saints are able to return it. There's Peyton Baird tapping it into no man's land right in the center of the floor. Nobody able to play it for IUSB, and St. Francis has tied the score. It's 3-all. See if the Saints can take their first lead. Set by Mackenzie Powell. Alexis Izette knocks it over, but the Saints are up to the challenge defensively. Brown drops it in front of Brooklyn Withy for the point. Julie Brown, the senior middle hitter from Whitehall, Michigan, picks up the kill. IUSB back in front. They've not trailed in the early going. Sophomore libero Whitney Gessinger gets the serve. Lauren Stefanski taps it over, played by Powell. Nice job by Pacheco stepping in to make the play on Alexis Izette's hit. Tipped down by Lauren Stefanski, and that'll be a point for Stefanski and the Saints. It looked like Mackenzie Powell was trying to set it up right there for either Alexis Izette or Hannah Marchand, and she slipped. And on that slight slip, nobody was able to make the play for the Titans, and that freed Lauren Stefanski to come over the net and tap it down, tying the score at 4. Nice play by Brooklyn Withy to keep it alive. There's Hannah Monfrey pushing over with 2 hands. Marchand tipped at the net, hit up in the air by Monfrey, but down for a Hannah Marchand kill. Marchand is among the leaders in the conference. She's among the leaders in the nation in kills, at least kills per game. Obviously, the overall number is pretty low because they have played so few matches this season. Powell gets the serve, diving play by Elmo. Stefanski hits it over. Marchand is blocked, and that drops in for a St. Francis point. Saints are as good as it gets in the CCAC when it comes to blocking hits at the net. And Lauren Stefanski ranks in the top 10 nationally in that category. She goes back to serve with the game tied at 5. Powell sets for Marchand, tipped over to Brooklyn Withy. There's a set from Pacheco for Peyton Baird. Nice play by the Titans. Izette, good dig by Hannah Pacheco. Here's Izette again, crossing court and dropping it in front of Hannah Monfrey. Very good hit by Alexis Izette, wrapping up what had been a fun rally back and forth. Izette finally finds the open space and puts IUSB back in front. Withy is blocked, but right back to Monfrey. Jacobs tipped it out of bounds, so that's a point for Amber Jacobs. The junior's second kill of this first set, and IUSB takes a 7-5 lead. They were up 3-1 early, and now 7-5. The only 2 times they've had a multi-point lead. Peyton Baird, good point for Peyton Baird. A strong hit, and a diving Alexis Izette was helpless to stop it. Saints are back within 1 as they make a couple of substitutions here. Alexis Angst comes on to serve. Tipped across and played by Monfrey. Here's Brooklyn Withy. Nice job by the Titans to keep it alive and hit over by Mackenzie Powell. There's Withy blocked. Looked like Alexis Joyner getting her hands on that one on the block. Hannah Marchand was up at the net as well. But IUSB gets the defensive point. And the Titans get the serve. Leading by 2, it's Hannah Marchand from the far left. Anderson, played on the back line by Marchand. Stephanie Woods looking for her first kill. Didn't get it. It's a turn, and Desiree Anderson hits it into the net. Well, Anderson's eyes lit up as she saw that ball floating to her, and we got a little too excited. She slams it down into the net, got on top of it, and IUSB has extended their lead to 3 for the first time. Looking to make it 4 here. The Saints a little disjointed, but played at the net by Stephanie Woods, kept alive. Woods hits it over, and the rally continues. Alexis Joyner drops that ball in. And a kill for Alexis Joyner makes it 3 straight points for the Titans. IUSB increases their lead to 4. Marchand serves. A high lofter, and Monfrey's able to step up to play it. Desiree Anderson down to the corner, and Anderson picks up the kill. Number 2 for the freshman Anderson. Brooklyn Withy's turn to serve. It's a big point for Anderson and the Saints as they're able to cut the deficit back to 3. Brown out to Withy. Here's Inks to Woods. Woods is blocked. Returned by Taylor Valance. Marchand to the back line. Good hit from the back line by Marchand. She gets it out of the reach of the diving Gabby Paelmo. The lead is back to 4 for IUSB. They're on a 6-2 run since this thing was tied at 5. Anderson, well played by Marchand. Jacobs coming back the other way. Here's Engst for Valance. Courtney Loniger keeps it alive. Tough angle, but somehow curled inside the antenna by Amber Jacobs. And Jacobs finishes it off with the kill. Good, strong hit by Jacobs to finish that one off, but the real key play, I think, was when she was out of bounds right at the net. Really tough angle. Somehow she was able to curl it inside the antenna and keep the rally alive at a time where it looked like the Saints were about to earn a point. Marchand out of bounds. Nice job by Brooklyn Withy to size up the trajectory of that hit and watch it go too long for the line. 8 serving 12. Paelmo serves it to the back line where Marchand plays it. Hit over by Jacobs. Here's Julie Brown, hit at the net, and forced over by Lauren Stefanski. Stefanski gets it down for the point. Good wherewithal for Lauren Stefanski there after the initial block at the net. She stuck with it, used both hands to push it down to a dead spot on the Titans defense. And the Saints are back within 3. They've trailed by as many as 5. Nearly down to 2 on that serve, but the Titans used their third hit to get it over. Taylor Valance got the line. Close call there. Taylor Valance was able to sneak it in. And now the Saints are within 2 on a 3-0 run. The serve belongs to Paelmo. Powell for Jacobs. Jacobs to the back line and out of bounds. Saints let it go, and they move within 1. Nice little run for St. Francis here, their best stretch of the game so far. Set number 1, in this conference battle, and St. Francis was down by 5. They've clawed their way back to a single-point deficit. Jacobs blocked, and a point to the Saints. Lauren Stefanski. Desiree Anderson in on the block. We're tied. 5-0 run for St. Francis. Paelmo will try to give the Saints their first lead of the match. This is the 5th time we've been tied. Jacobs taps it over and Angst plays it. Nice play by Brooklyn Withy coming up from the back. And the Saints' 5-0 run comes to an end. So Indiana South Bend moves back in front. They have not trailed in this first set. They were up by as many as 5. We've been tied now 5 separate times. And the Titans have the serve back. Angst sets. Stefanski pushes it over and out of bounds. Saints were not in good spirits on that last play. I don't know if that's quite accurate, but they are in good spirits now on the serving error. They were just a little discombobulated on that previous hit. Stefanski was fortunate just to get it over the net, but it went straight out of bounds, as did that last serve. 1-point game again. Out of bounds on the hit from the Titans. Got away from them. And for the 6th time, we're tied. Good one developing here in the first set. Here's the serve from Pacheco. And it's an ace for Pacheco. St. Francis leads 15-14. Their first lead of the game. We'll see if they can really get on a roll now. No, not on that serve. Too strong from Pacheco. It's hard to say that they weren't on a roll prior to that serve. They were on an 8-2 run. Still 8-3 Saints over the last 11 points. Pacheco sets. Taylor Valent trying to finish. Good dig by Jacobs. Stefanski for Pacheco to Valent. Blocked. Good block there by Mackenzie Powell. And after a very brief deficit, IUSB is back on top. They trailed 15-14, the only time they've been behind. Serve is off from Whitney Gessinger. Lauren Stefanski tips it over the blockers. Nice recovery by Izette. Brooklyn Withy to the back line where it's played by Loniger. Marchand winds up and fires it down. Hannah Marchand picks up the kill. It's her 3rd so far. She averages just over 4 per set. Stefanski, nice return. Peyton Baird this time tipped at the net and returned by Marchand, and Hannah Marchand picks up another one. The Titans have weathered the St. Francis storm and have regained control here. They were up by as many as 5 earlier. St. Francis came from behind to take the lead back, and now IUSB is ahead by 3. Lauren Stefanski makes it 2. That's a big hit from Stefanski. Substitution for the Saints. Hannah Monfrey gets the serve. Trailing by 2 and now starting to get late. Saints can't afford to see IUSB maintain a multiple point lead around this stage of the first set. Marchand is blocked but out of bounds. So the Saints not able to fully get back on track despite stopping the Titans' run. They give it up after just 1 point. Here's the serve from Mackenzie Powell. Monfrey for Pacheco. Withy is able to hit it over. Nice play by Paelmo. Stefanski keeps the rally going for St. Francis. Good block at the net by the Saints. Kept alive by the Titans. Izette can't quite reach it. It drops on the Titans side, and the Saints get a much-needed point. Here's Lauren Stefanski on the serve. Joyner blocked at the net. Nice job by the Titans to keep it alive, and they cannot get the back line on the attack. Just barely over the line. And the Saints get the point on the attacking error. 1 point game again. Here's Joyner, blocked, and right back to Joyner. Marchand is blocked, and the Saints have tied it at 19. Timeout called by Indiana South Bend. They've seen leads of 5 and more recently 3 disappear. We're tied now for the 7th time. And it should be a fun race to the finish. 1st to 6 from here on out is going to end up taking this one. We saw Hannah Marchand get blocked moments ago, but Marchand's been huge with 5 kills and 8 digs already in this first set. Saints have been led so far by Lauren Stefanski. She's got 3 kills, and for Stefanski, that's par for the course. She averages 2.4 per set this season, second on the squad only to Brooklyn Withy. And Stefanski paces the squad with a .281 attack percentage. St. Francis was down 12-7. They went on a 5-0 run when it looked like IUSB was getting ready to pull away, and ever since then it's been neck and neck. The last 4 matches for IUSB have all been decided in only 3 sets. So if we assume the pattern is going to continue today, this first one becomes huge, one way or the other. Stefanski on the serve, trying to reclaim the lead for St. Francis. They've been up only once in this first game. Marchand blocked, and one more hit for the Titans. They get it over. Pacheco for Woods. Stephanie Woods is tipped out of bounds. That's a point for St. Francis. And for the second time, the Saints are in the lead. They've matched their biggest lead. It was 15-14, now 20-19. A 5-1 run for the Fighting Saints. Gessinger had a little trouble with that one, but the Titans get it over. Stephanie Woods taps it, and Marchand there to play it. Here's Hannah Marchand looking for the kill. She's got it. Her 6th of the game. She ties us 20-20. Alexis Sizette gets the serve. Here's Brooklyn Withy. Off the side of the arm of Izette, and it ricochets out of bounds. Nice hit by Withy. Her first kill of the night. Saints back in front. We've seen 8 ties now, just 3 lead changes. There's that 9 ties at this point. They've lost track. Battle at the net. I thought Withy went over, but nope. The infraction is called against the Titans. So St. Francis takes their first 2-point lead of the night. And now they're knocking on the door. Marchand is knocking on the door of a big game. In fact, she's already gone through the door. It's her 7th kill. IUSB trails by 1. Marchand serves. Anderson gets it down. Not one of the bigger hits we've seen this year from Desiree Anderson, but she had Indiana South Bend on their heels. Taitlin Trenshaw was backing up and not quite in position to be able to return that. So the Saints lead is back to 2. Brooklyn Withy serves. A line drive serve played on the back line by Marchand. Julie Brown tipped and kept alive. Woods to the back. Good play by Marchand. Amber Jacobs right back to Brooklyn Withy. Taylor Valent skims the nets. Angst to the back and Brooklyn Withy. Good return by Powell. Joyner goes too strong. She's out of bounds. Really fun rally there, but the point goes to the Saints. And that sets up game point here. They lead 24-21. They've been down the majority of this first game. But it won't matter if they get one more point. Joyner keeps her team alive. Valiant effort by Paelmo. And then a valiant effort after that by Taylor Valent, but she wasn't really anywhere near that one. No chance to keep it alive. Still game point for the Saints. Serves away from Loniger. Anderson. There's the win for St. Francis. Desiree Anderson delivers the game's final blow, and St. Francis comes from behind to defeat Indiana South Bend 25-22. They trailed by 5, came back, took a lead, fell behind by 3 again, and roared back a second time, and finish off Indiana South Bend with a 25-22 first set victory. A very impressive showing from St. Francis there in the opener. We've got at least 2 more games to come, maybe as many as 4. And I'll deliver set number 2 in just a few moments. Right now, I'll take a quick break. St. Francis on top, 1-0. St. Francis takes the first set tonight, 25-22. An impressive comeback from the Fighting Saints after they fell behind pretty early. They fought their way back. We had 9 ties, but just 3 lead changes because the Saints were playing from behind almost the entire way. But they finished with a flourish. They were down at one point 19-16, and from that point on, they outscored Indiana South Bend 9-3. Desiree Anderson led the Saints with 4 kills in that first set, including the final one. So an impressive first game from Anderson. Keep in mind, she had 2 attacking errors before she even picked up a single kill, but she ended up with 4 kills and just 3 errors. Leader for Indiana South Bend, Hannah Marchand, 7 kills in that first game, but they weren't enough. See if she can do her part again here in game 2 as Indiana South Bend tries to even the match up. I mentioned before, Indiana South Bend's last 4 matches have all ended in 3 sets. 3 of them wins, 1 of them a loss, but they're not accustomed to going more than 3. And the Saints would be more than happy to keep it that way today. We'll see where it goes. Saints serve first. Gabby Paelmo will do the honors as she stands on her left. Saints, of course, on our right. Serve is away and played on the back line by Jacobs. Brooklyn Withy. Good play again by Jacobs. Playing some defense early here. And tipped down by Alexis Izette. Indiana South Bend strikes first. Good little tip by Izette. Got it over the outstretched arms of the blocker Desiree Anderson. Serve from Mackenzie Powell, a junior from Rolling Prairie, Indiana. Anderson blocked, out of bounds. Point to Anderson and the Saints. We're tied at 1 as Hannah Pacheco comes on to serve. Big attack and a point for Hannah Marchand. So after a whopping 7 kills in the first set, Marchand has 1 already here in game number 2. And Alexis Izette gets to serve. Pacheco for Valent. Tipped and a nice lunging play by the libero Gessinger. Peyton Baird. Izette plays it. Marchand knocks it down just out of the reach of Hannah Pacheco, who reached for it. Pacheco did get her hand on it, but not able to control her hit. South Bend, for the second consecutive game, takes a 3-1 lead. Another serve from Izette. And the Saints mishandle it. Baird and Withy miscommunicated there. IUSB has scored 3 points in a row. We saw a lot of similar runs in the first set. Teams scoring 3, 4, sometimes 5 straight. But it went back and forth as Brooklyn Withy knocks it out of bounds. 4 in a row for IUSB. Seemed like every time the Saints went on a 4 or 5 point run, Titans answered and did the same. We'll see if the same thing happens here in game 2, as it would be the Saints now looking to put an end to this run and start one of their own. Pacheco for Baird. Baird is blocked, but right back to Peyton Baird, who hits it into the net. Great start to this second game for Indiana South Bend. After dropping a tough opener 25-22, they have been fired up to start out the second set. 6 out of the first 7. Pacheco sets for Valent. Nice job by Indiana South Bend to somehow keep that one alive. Stefanski gets it in there. Izette tried to play that, but hit it behind her. And the Saints are finally back on the board after IUSB had scored 5 in a row. Here's Hannah Monfrey on the serve. Another kill for Marchand. Marchand does not let the Titans wallow in having lost the last point. A serve for Marchand. Monfrey for Withy, and Brooklyn Withy hits it off the leg of Mackenzie Powell. Point to St. Francis. Well, Powell's leg was in bounds, so I guess that was going to land in bounds whether or not Powell was there, but it looked for a time like it was heading out. It did eventually land out, but because it hit the player first, it's an inbounds play. Stefanski gets a little help from the net and has herself an ace. Her 12th this season. That ball died at the top of the net, dropped like a stone. Saints are within 3. They were down by 5 a couple of moments ago. Stefanski hits it back out of bounds. Point to IUSB. Courtney Loniger, the junior setter, comes in to serve. Brooklyn Withy for Hannah Pacheco. Stephanie Woods, too hard. Nope, point to St. Francis. Got an infraction prior to that hit out of bounds from Woods. It goes against IUSB. The whistle had already blown, so that hit didn't matter. Julie Brown. Hit back by Withy. And the Titans get the point. Withy is called for the net violation. Four-point game. South Bend serves. Anderson returns that serve. Brooklyn Withy hits it into the net. Withy's having a tough go of things so far. Her 4th attacking error of the night. Jacobs across to Withy. There's angst for Stephanie Woods. And Stephanie Woods gets it down for the point. Whitney Gessinger couldn't keep it alive. So the Saints stay in striking range. They've not yet gone on that run that I was talking about, but they haven't let IUSB pull away despite scoring 6 of the first 7. They've kept it pretty even ever since. And a chance at a point for St. Francis here. They've got it as Powell can't quite knock it back the other way. IUSB struggled to play the serve using 3 hits and ultimately not able to get it across to the Saints side. So Withy, following the point on the serve, gets another one, down by just 3. A low serve from Withy, played by the Titans. There's a set from Angst to Valance. Back the other way, Izette. Angst for Woods, and Stephanie Woods drills it right into Whitney Gessinger. That's the second kill of this second set for Stephanie Woods. Actually make that the 3rd kill of this second set for Stephanie Woods. And Withy's serve this time drifts out of bounds along the sideline. So that ends a run of 3 consecutive points for the Fighting Saints. It remains a close contest as Gessinger serves. Angst for Anderson. Good play by Powell to keep it alive. And Angst can't make the diving play, so the point goes to IUSB. Good bounce back for the Titans after their 5-point lead had shrunk to 2. They get 2 of those 3 right back. Taylor Vallant taps it across the blockers. Diving play made by Izette. Jacobs hits it over. Diving Paelmo stops the hit from Powell. Nice work by Paelmo. Here's Izette. Another good dig by Paelmo. Anderson hits it over. Really good rally developing here. It's Brooklyn Withy from the back. Hit high into the air, comes down. Izette gives it another go. Tipped at the net. Taylor Valance to the back line and Gessinger. Izette not kept alive this time by the Saints. Paelmo tried, pushed it up into the air right at Brooklyn Withy, and Withy came upon her a little bit too fast, so she was not able to make the play. Best rally we've seen so far tonight, but it goes to IUSB. They've scored 3 in a row, and they've matched their biggest lead at 5. Withy hits it into the net. So IUSB takes their biggest lead, not just of this second set, but of the entire match so far, 14-8. And Withy again hits it into the net, that time from a tough angle. 7 points is the deficit now. Don't count the Saints out. They went on a run of 8-2 in the first set and then finished on a 9-3 run. So they've certainly got what it takes to get back into this thing. They've got to move in a hurry, though. Taylor Vallant gets the Saints back on the board. That's a big point. That snaps a 5-0 IUSB run. A kill for Vallant brings the serve back to the Saints side. It'll be Gabby Paelmo. Powell for Marchand, and Marchand drops home a kill. Paelmo couldn't keep it going. So IUSB maintains a big lead. And Mackenzie Powell gets the serve. Desiree Anderson just misses the line. Strong swing from Anderson, but a little bit wild. Just enough to give the point to the Titans. Another serve from Powell with her team now pulling away and pulling away even further. It's a 9-point lead for IUSB. They're doubling up St. Francis, and that causes Kara Courier to call a timeout. 18-9 the score, and the Saints use up their first timeout tonight. Now trying to figure out a way to get back into this game. Hannah Marchand up to 12 total kills tonight, 5 of them in this second set. And IUSB is swinging at a very impressive rate in the second game so far. So the Saints have their work cut out for them. I just checked actually the number for the first time. I said they've been swinging it at a very impressive rate. I didn't realize just how impressive. They have 0 attacking errors in this second game. They're hitting at a .400 percentage. So they have not hurt themselves at all. The Saints, on the other hand, have 7 attacking errors. St. Francis got to clean a few things up and hope that South Bend cools off a little bit the way they did in the first game. Because if they continue to play at this rate, they're going to be a very difficult team to beat tonight. Not that they aren't usually. 4 wins in their first 6 matches. IUSB coming off of a 20-win season a year ago. Both of these teams won over 20 games last year. Back in the fall of 2019. Back underway, Mackenzie Powell serves. Angst for Vallant, blocked, and down for an IUSB point on the block. So coming out of the timeout, the same result for St. Francis. Here's the serve from Powell. Anderson for Angst, back to Desi Anderson. Played on the back line by Amber Jacobs and plunked down. IUSB strikes again. They're on a 10-1 run. And they're just 5 points away from evening up the match. Anderson races in from the back row to make the play. Brooklyn Withy hit up into the air by Powell. Tapped in by Angst. IUSB returns it, but they do so illegally on a lift. The score is 10, serving 20. Good dig by Paelmo. Pacheco keeps it up, and Brooklyn Withy hits it over. Tapped by Izette and just out of the reach of the Saints blockers. Alexis Izette gets the point for the Titans. Serve belongs to Izette, and it's an ace for Izette. 22-10 is our score, as Izette has picked up the last 2 points. She stands back in the middle of the floor, set to serve again. Peyton Baird tries to get one back for the Saints, but doesn't. She gets the antenna. That's out of bounds. Things have just never gotten back on track for St. Francis in this second set. Started to unravel early and was never picked up. Taylor Valent. There's a point for Taylor Valent and the Saints. The Saints are trying to make this one respectable at this point. Of course, they'd love to get to 13 points before IUSB gets to 2, but it's a tall order. Diving play by Gessiger keeps this rally going. I guess it started the rally, the return of the serve. Brooklyn Withy hits it into the net. Game point for IUSB. They'll have as many as 13 of them in a row. Hannah Marchand gets the serve. Pacheco for Stefanski. Diving play by Palmo to return Mackenzie Powell's hit. Jacobs for the win. Not this time. The Saints are able to defend it. There is the win for Mackenzie Powell as she sets it over the net and down for the 25th point. A dominant second set for Indiana South Bend. They led 10-8, and it was close early as game one was all the way through. And then from that point on, they pulled away in a big way. They outscored the Saints the rest of the way, 15-3. And so St. Francis will try to bounce back in the third set as we are now tied 1 win apiece. We'll take a quick break here. Back with set number 3 in just a few moments here on the USF Sports Network. We're tied at 1 set apiece here at St. Francis. Saints took the opener 25-22. IUSB bounced back big time, 25-11. Quick look at the stats after 2 sets. Very different from the way they looked after 1 set. It was very even after 1 set. 25-22, of course, the score. There were 9 ties, 3 lead changes in that first game. St. Francis had a 135 attack percentage. IUSB 137. Both teams had 3 blocks. Just up and down the stat sheet, very similar. Second set, not so much. IUSB had 2 blocks. Saints had none. IUSB had a 393 attack percentage. St. Francis negative 026. So things have turned around, but the good news for St. Francis, even though they've now been outscored by 11 points overall, the wins count exactly the same. It's 1-1 and a clean slate. As we start game number 3, IUSB is going to get the first serve here. The libero Gessinger comes in for Brown. They've got Jacobs, Loniger, Powell, Izette, and Marchand on the floor. Saints have Stefanski, Baird, Withy, Paelmo, Valent, and Pacheco. Here we go. Whitney Gessinger gets the first serve of the 3rd set. And Taylor Valent's the first one to touch it for St. Francis. Valent tips it over. Played by the Titans, but played into the antenna. So for the first time tonight, the Saints strike first. And this is their first lead since they were victorious at the end of the first set. They never led and were never tied after 1-1 in the second set. Izette is blocked, but it's playable for the Titans. Marchand is blocked and again playable for the Titans. Izette is not blocked and it's playable for the Fighting Saints. Hannah Monfrey to the back line. Marchand hit up into the air by Peyton Baird. Here's Izette. Good dig by Monfrey. We go on here. Baird trying to end it, and she finally does. Saints look good out of the gate here in the 3rd game. Back-to-back points. They lead it 2-0, and a really good rally there. Ends on the Peyton Baird kill. Here's Hannah Monfrey's serve from her left. Nice job by Powell to tip it over. Saints return it with Brooklyn Withy. Jacobs gets it down the other way. Looked like a ricochet off of Baird and then again off of Pacheco. And just enough movement off the initial deflection that they weren't able to keep the rally going. So IUSB is on the board for the first time in the 3rd set. They trail 2-1 and they've got the serve. It belongs to Mackenzie Powell. That's down for an IUSB point. The Saints are unable to return the serve. They used all 3 hits, never got a clean one. And the Titans have bounced back after giving up the first 2 points. We're tied. Pacheco for Stefanski. Lauren Stefanski tips it up, tried to get it over the blockers, but they're able to send it back the other way. Powell for Marchand, blocked by the Saints, but a good job by the Titans to keep it going. Pacheco knocks it over. This time Pacheco sets for Hannah Monfrey. And Joyner drops it in. Alexis Joyner just in front of Gabby Paelmo. Wraps up a nice back and forth with the 3rd consecutive point for IUSB. So the Titans take their first lead of this 3rd set. They're tied 1-1 in the match. Stefanski goes light with it. A nice soft touch for the senior Stefanski. And we're tied once again. Very, very early in this 3rd set, but so far it's gearing up to be a lot more competitive than the second one was. This one playing a little bit more early on like the first did, back and forth. That game the Saints won by 3. Peyton Baird drills it into the chest of Amber Jacobs. And Peyton Baird puts the Saints in front. Stefanski serves for the Fighting Saints. Flat-footed serve from well behind the line, and there's a block by Brooklyn Withy. Stephanie Woods up at the net as well. They turn back on Hannah Marchand and extend the St. Francis lead back to 2. A soft serve this time from Stefanski, and it plays well. Just in front of Amber Jacobs. Beautiful serve from Stefanski. Her second ace of the night. And this time she tries to follow it up with a line drive, but hits it straight into the net. So the run for St. Francis is over after they had built up their biggest lead of the entire night, in fact, 3 points. Tied their biggest lead of the night. Brooklyn Withy tries to cross it. Jacobs the first to touch it for the Titans. And Paelmo hits that in the wrong direction. 5 serving 6 here. IUSB will play for the tie as Alexis Izette receives the ball and sends it away. Short serve, stepping up. Brooklyn Withy makes the play. Stephanie Woods drops it just in front of Mackenzie Powell, but a nice diving play keeps the rally alive. Brooklyn Withy ends the rally as she knocks it down just at the ankles of Julie Brown. Saints were held to just 11 points in the last set. They're more than halfway there already in this one as they've got an early lead. Marchand across to Hannah Monfrey. That drops out of bounds, but it was tipped at the net by Brooklyn Withy. So IUSB gets the point. And the Saints lead is cut to 1. Good start to this third set. Both teams are playing well. Here's the serve for Marchand. Ingst for Anderson. And a drop in for a point for IUSB. Taitlin Trenshaw gets credit for it. And almost an accidental point there for Trenshaw. She was just trying to defend the kill shot from Desiree Anderson. It drifted over the net, and there was nobody on that side of the court for St. Francis. Angst pushes it over. Diving play made by Powell. And Trenshaw pushes across. Powell for Brown. Easily received by Monfrey. There's Anderson crossing court and dropping it out. IUSB takes the lead. 8-7 is our score, as they've scored the last 3 points. They're on a 5-1 run overall. Angst for Withy. Trenshaw keeps it up in the air. Jacobs is blocked, but out of bounds. 4 straight points for the Titans, and they've got their first multi-point lead of this third set. They ran away to an easy victory in game 2. Saints trying to slow the bleeding early here. Stephanie Woods hit up into the air by Trenshaw, and the Titans were able to get it over. Nice work by IUSB. Angst sets for Withy, and Trenshaw keeps it alive for the Titans. Joyner out of bounds. Paelmo backed out of the way, let it go, and a good move to stay clear of that ball as it drops just beyond the back line. Saints down by just 1. This serve is for the tie. Blocked by Taylor Valent, kept alive by the Titans. Angst for Valent. There's Trenshaw. Jacobs is blocked and down for the Saints. Desiree Anderson, Stephanie Woods up at the net. They work to tie the score up at 9. Blocks have been one of the big calling cards for the Saints all year. Mentioned before, they didn't have a single one of them in the second set, but they're playing strong at the net so far in this third one. Brown into the net, and that's a point for IUSB. Landed out of bounds. And the Titans, after briefly sharing the tie score, are right back in the lead. Serve belongs to Courtney Loniger. Anderson, big hit by Desiree Anderson. We're tied once again. Good back and forth action here in the third set. Here's Paelmo getting the serve. To the back corner, it's Trenshaw. Here's Julie Brown, tipped and played by Paelmo. Lauren Stefanski. Powell goes back the other way and airmails the line. Mackenzie Powell hits it a little bit too hard. That's a point to St. Francis. They're back in front. Serve still belongs to Paelmo. And it does not any longer. She gives it up by sending that ball straight out of bounds. A serving error ties us up at 11. Amber Jacobs gets her turn to serve. Angst for Anderson, and out of bounds from Anderson. A miss hit on the attack. Just like that, IUSB is back in front. Saints oh so briefly held on to an advantage at 11-10, but it's gone. Angst for Withy, a little bit behind her, but Withy adjusts. Izette, well played by Paelmo. Anderson picks up another kill for the Saints. 7th kill of the night for Desi Anderson. That's tops on the Fighting Saints. Hannah Pacheco nearly picked up an ace, but a diving play by Loniger keeps it alive, just long enough for Julie Brown to knock it in for a kill. IUSB crosses the halfway line just a little bit before St. Francis here, taking a 13-12 lead. Taylor Valent tries to tie it up again. Loniger is there to play it. Marchand is tipped. There's Valent. Stefanski out of bounds. Nice try by Lauren Stefanski, but used those fingertips to push that ball just a little bit too hard. Out by inches. Stefanski, another try. This time she goes a little harder with it and plays it to perfection. Point to the Saints. Hannah Monfrey stands on the left side and gets set for a serve. Marchand, cross to Peyton Baird. Paelmo to Withy. Tipped at the net, and the point goes to IUSB. Miss hit by St. Francis. A double hit makes it 15-13 Titans. Serve is away from Mackenzie Powell. Stefanski tips it over the blockers, but racing in is the libero Gessinger. And a very nice hit by Alexis Izette, crossing court with it and dropping it inside the line. Alexis Izette coming into play today was 4th on the team in terms of attacking percentage, but she's up over 200 in this one. Powell sends it back to Palmo. Brooklyn Withy, too strong. And now IUSB is starting to pull away. And Kara Courier recognizes that. She calls timeout. And that last hit just a shade behind Brooklyn Withy. Tried to adjust on the fly, but she did not position her body well enough to hit that ball where she wanted to after she did try to react to that set coming in a little bit too far back. And the Saints are struggling all around right now. They've been through stretches like this in all 3 games. In the second game, it lasted pretty much the entire time. They fell 25-11. In set number 1, they were down several times by multiple points. They were down by as many as 5. And then very late, they were down by 4. And they came back for a 25-22 win. So it's certainly not out of the question here. Not only have they done it before, they've done it before in this match. So Kara Courier just wants to get her team back on track here and snap this run that IUSB is on. Saints' last lead was at 11-10. And since then, it's been 7-2 in favor of the visitors. Those visitors come out of the timeout with the serve. Belongs to Mackenzie Powell. Palmo the first to touch it for St. Francis. Pacheco to Stefanski, and out of the timeout, there's a kill for Lauren Stefanski. It's a big point for the Fighting Saints. Stefanski will try to get on a roll now as a server. She was able to generate a few points from the serving position earlier in the third set. Picked up an ace during that run. Gessinger touches her serve. Joyner pushes it over. Here's Baird. Baird is blocked and straight down for the Titans. Izette and Marchand at the net. It's a big one for IUSB as the Saints tried to make a late comeback. Still not out of the question. But the Titans at least put a stop to the thought right away. Here's Monfrey out of bounds. This game was so close for so long, but now when it counts the most, the Titans are pouring it on. Saints keep it alive, and they can't quite get it over, not in bounds. They left a freebie for the Titans. Joyner tried to pick up the kill, and the Saints were able to get a couple of hits on it, but ended up out of bounds. So IUSB extends their lead to 6 now, a game high. Pacheco taps it over. Jacobs is able to react to it, and there's the big block by the Saints. They were desperate for a point right there. They would have taken it any way they could get it, but able to fire themselves up a little bit with the block right at the net, and Alexis Angst comes on to serve, trailing 15-20. Tapped in by Marchand, and Alexis Angst is unable to make the diving play. The Titans just refuse to let St. Francis get into a groove here. Marchand is the server. Angst for Anderson, tipped at the net and back to Trenshaw. Nice work by the Saints to keep it alive, or did they? No, it did hit the ground. Thought Palmo had gotten her hand underneath that ball for just a moment, but it did indeed hit the ground, so IUSB's lead is up to 7. Marchand serves again. Engst sets up Anderson. Good hit by Anderson, but well dug by Powell. But the Titans are called for an illegal hit. Double hit against IUSB. St. Francis will take the gift and pull within 6. Tough play for the Titans. Marchand tries to get it over into the net, right back to IUSB. Engst for Withy. Brooklyn Withy to the back line. Trenshaw to Brown, and Julie Brown gets it over. Taylor Valent is blocked out of bounds by Alexis Joyner. So St. Francis back on the board. Serve from Brooklyn Withy, drifts out of bounds. Saints bring McKenna Bartecki in on defense. First time we've seen her tonight. Serve belongs to IUSB, and it's Courtney Loniger taking it. Engst for Valent. Taylor Valent slaps it over. Engst for Anderson. And it's blocked. Blocked by Jacobs. That sets up game point for Indiana South Bend. Courtney Loniger's serve goes away to Palmo. Taylor Valent with 2 hands trying to drop it in, but Marchand steps up, makes the play. Jacobs looking for the victory, but the Saints play it on their end. Anderson hits it out of bounds, and it was not tipped. So that point goes to IUSB. The game goes to IUSB, and they take a 25-17 victory to a 2-1 match lead. Nice work by IUSB, not nearly as dominant as the second set was, but after back and forth start, they pulled away with 4 consecutive points that broke a 13-13 tie. That's not right. It was 13-12. They scored 4 in a row, and that's what put them in control. They never looked back from that point on, and they come away with an 8-point victory. So take a break here. Back in a moment with set number 4 as IUSB tries to put the finishing touches on this one. For the first time today, St. Francis finds themselves trailing in the match after they took the first set. IUSB has won 2 in a row, so it's 2-1 match right now. And South Bend does have a chance to win it all with 25 more points. Through the first 3 sets, Hannah Marchand is their leader with 14 kills. Amber Jacobs and Alexis Izette each have 6. For the Saints, Desiree Anderson and Lauren Stefanski are tied up at 7. Saints have 25 attacking errors today, only 13 for Indiana South Bend. So in a lot of ways, it's really been the mistakes, the relative lack thereof for IUSB that have gotten us to where we're at right now. See if the Saints can even things up here. Taylor Valent gets the first point. Big hit from Taylor Valent. And for Valent, that's kill number 6. She's had a very good night. Pacheco follows that up with a serve into the net. So service error makes it 1-1. And IUSB gets the serve back here with Mackenzie Powell. Valent looks for her second kill, but it's returned and plunked down by Marchand, I believe that was. It usually is. Scores 2-1. Here's Powell. Pacheco for Valent. Received on the other end by Powell. Joyner is blocked, kept up though by the Titans as Izette is blocked out of bounds. IUSB takes a 3-1 lead. And this is a time right now where the Saints have to step up. Not that falling behind 4-1 would be particularly disastrous, but IUSB has had a tendency over the last few games to go on long runs that have put things out of reach in a hurry. And they're trying to do that right now as Izette, with 2 hands, pushes it over to the back row. Nobody standing there for St. Francis, and an easy point for the Titans. Serve from Powell. Paelmo hits it in the air. Pacheco is able to chase it down, and Anderson from the back row knocks it across. Izette drops it in again. Alexis Izette is hot to start game number 4. She's got 3 kills already. She had 6 in the first 3 sets combined. She's got 3 of the first 5 points for IUSB in this game. There's the serve from Powell. Chance for the Saints to return it here. Taylor Valent taps it over. A battle at the net, back and forth, and it's on IUSB's side as they're able to keep it alive. Izette pokes it over, but blocked back the other way by the Saints. Nice job by St. Francis. They win the battle at the net. And a much-needed point for St. Francis. Hannah Monfrey hits it over to Gessinger. Coming back the other way. Lauren Stefanski somehow kept in the air by Jacobs. Nice work by Amber Jacobs. Stefanski tries it again. This one is tipped out of bounds. And Stefanski will get credit for the kill for that swing. Monfrey's serve is away. Blocked by St. Francis. Stefanski up at the net. She's got a kill and she's got a block over the last couple of points. And she has helped St. Francis pull within a point. 4 serving 5. Monfrey does it. Izette tips and down for Titans point. Izette's dominant run continues as she gets to serve now. A low serve played by Anderson. Desiree Anderson looking for the kill. A nice play by Powell. Jacobs going back the other way. Diving stop by Monfrey, and Pacheco sets it over. Pacheco hits it in the air to Desiree Anderson, but she's called for the two-hitter. Tough play for Pacheco. Paelmo made a great diving play. And really not her fault, but she was in Pacheco's way after that. And Hannah Pacheco tried for the set at the same time. She was straddling the body of Paelmo and wasn't able to concentrate fully. Anderson gets it down. That's a big point for Desiree Anderson. Five serving seven. It's Lauren Stefanski's turn. Hit up in the air by Caitlin Trenshaw. And taps down for the point. That's Alexis Joyner. Joyner's got her 6th point of the night. I should say her 6th kill of the night. She's got a few more points than that. She's been involved in 3 blocks. Drifting into the net, Pacheco's not able to get to it. The ball just got away from Monfrey a little bit. IUSB has doubled their lead with back-to-back points. It's up to 4. There's Pacheco for Baird, and Peyton Baird slams it into the net. The Saints find themselves struggling once again. Still fairly early in the 4th set, but this would be a match ender if the Titans take it. So the Fighting Saints know well that they can't afford to fall too far behind. Anderson struggles with that one, hits it up in the rafters, and it actually ricochets back towards the court. Benefit to the Saints as they're able to keep it alive. Pacheco tips it over, and the Titans can't get it across with 3 hits. Nice team effort by St. Francis that time. A couple of good defensive plays on that rally. The ball that went up into the rafters actually, I think, saved St. Francis and led to them eventually getting that point. Jacobs grazes the top of the net and gets it down on St. Francis' side. And that's the way that things have gone these last several games for the Fighting Saints. They get a big point, but have not been able to keep that momentum alive. And IUSB seems to keep bouncing back. They've gone on some fairly long runs. The Saints have not been able to answer and do the same, but that's a nice kill there for Desiree Anderson. And that's at least a good start. They've had some big plays up and down the lineup today. As I was saying, the key now is can they get 3 or 4 in a row? Or at least in close succession. Good dive by Paelmo to keep it alive. Here's Paelmo setting up Engst, who gives it to Valent. Taylor Valent's hit is played on the other end by Trenshaw. There's Anderson stepping up from the back row and knocking it out of bounds. It's been a mixed bag for Desiree Anderson tonight, and that's been in full display just over the last couple of points. A monster kill and then an attacking error. She's got 9 of each tonight. Taylor Valent tips it over. Izette is there for the play. Withy gets the line. Did she? No, it's out of bounds. close call. It goes to the Titans. Here's Inks setting it up for Valent, and there's a big kill for Taylor Valent. Gabby Palmo sets herself up, and there's her serve. Trailing by 5. Saints trying to get back into it. Izette from her knees. Palmo's able to keep it up. Tipped back by Izette. Anderson keeps it in the air, and the Saints get it over. Anderson and Withy. Nice work that time. Here's Taylor Valent looking for the point. Good dig by Gessinger. Izette is blocked. Brooklyn Withy gets the block. Back-to-back points for St. Francis. That one hard fought, well earned. Here's Powell for Brown. Played on the other end by Angst. Brooklyn Withy. Good play by Gessinger. Lauren Stefanski hits it out of bounds. IUSB is back ahead by 5. Gessinger gets the serve. Taylor Valent gets the kill. 8th kill of the match for Taylor Valent. Tied for second on the team tonight behind Anderson's 9. Marchand blocked by the Saints. I think that was Peyton Baird, but Lauren Stefanski was up there as well. Saints have gotten themselves back into this one. They were down by 6 a few moments ago. Chance here to make it a 2-point game. But they can't do it as Izette pulls it down for the point. 15-11. Game 1 went to St. Francis. The next one was an IUSB blowout, and then a little bit closer in Game 3, but again it went to the Titans. Now the Saints trying to stay alive, and Taylor Valent is keeping them alive over the last few rallies. She's got back-to-back kills for the Fighting Saints. Again, they're within 3. Serve belongs to Hannah Monfrey. Gessinger to Powell to Marchand. Tipped at the net. Lauren Stefanski gets it in for the Saints. Gessinger tried to keep it going for IUSB, but sent it too far. So here we are, back as close as it's been in a while. I think 7-5 was the last time. It was within 2 points, and we're back there at 15-13. Great dive by Paelmo, and the rally continues. Here's Marchand, blocked by Stefanski. It's a 1-point game. St. Francis has turned things around here in the 4th set. Very similar to the way things went for a while in set number 1. This is right around the time they flicked that switch and took over. Izette has it returned. Nice work by Paelmo. And Desiree Anderson gets the kill to tie things up. 15 all, and Jamie Ashmore wants a timeout. The 10th year head coach of the Titans pulls her team to the sideline. St. Francis has come back from 6 points down. They're on an 8-2 run right now. And they've scored the last 4 points consecutively. And this is just what they needed exactly when they needed it. They've been trailing pretty consistently since the end of that first set, which went their way. And as tight as this match seemed early on, IUSB had really seemed to establish themselves as the dominant side in this match, and St. Francis is not allowing them to look that way anymore. A lot of mistakes earlier in the night from the Fighting Saints, but they've cleaned it up lately, and especially during this 8-2 run. Now they're fired up, ready to go, back on the court already as IUSB stays in the huddle on their sideline. The Fighting Saints trying to get to 10 points now before the Titans do, trying to force a decisive fifth set. Mentioned earlier that IUSB has not played a 4-set match in a while. Their last 4, one way or the other, have all gone just 3 sets. It's the first time since February 26th they've had to play more than 3. It's only the 3rd time all year. Saints are going to make them earn this one. Here we go. Hannah Monfrey serves, trying to extend a 4-0 run. And she can't do it. Alexis Izette has the big hit from the right side. And the Titans are back in front. They've played with the lead the majority of the evening. 16-15 now as they score out of the timeout. Izette's serve is returned by Anderson, sent it the wrong way, and the Saints are able to recover as Lauren Stefanski gets it over. That is a kill for Hannah Marchand. Lauren Stefanski had to go back and play that ball that had drifted out of bounds on Anderson. And Stefanski had to race back to the net, but didn't get there quite in enough time. Typically, she's the main deterrent for attackers. Wasn't able to be that time, but she is an attacker on this play for St. Francis. She picks up the kill. After St. Francis had come back to tie it up, IUSB scored 2 in a row, but the Saints do not let them get on one of the big runs we've seen them get on a number of times today. That's a big point to get it back to within 1. Stephanie Woods, nice reaction at the net. Powell tried to get the point. Jacobs drops it in just inside that line. Nice hit by Amber Jacobs. 8th kill of the night for Jacobs. Marchand's turn to serve. Saints let it go, but it drops inbounds. And that's another big one for IUSB. Anderson thought about playing it at the last moment. She backed out of the way. And it drops inside the line. Marchand set to serve again. This time it drops out of bounds. So the Saints let it go on back-to-back serves. And they go 1 for 2. Here comes Alexis Engst to serve. At the net, pushed over. Here's Anderson. Diving play made by Jacobs. Marchand comes in from the back row and is able to deflect it off the hand of Stephanie Woods. Straight down for a Marchand kill. Her 17th tonight. And IUSB is just 5 points away now. Anderson returns the serve. Powell sets it up for Brown. Good dig by Paelmo. But hit right back by Julie Brown. And then the Titans take a 4-point lead. Kara Courier calls timeout. Great run for St. Francis. They went on an 8-2 run. They were down 13-7. And they came back to tie the score for the first time in a while. They've been playing from behind all night. Even that first set, they had to come from behind to get the win. So a valiant effort to get back into that 15-15 tie, but that's when IUSB called the timeout, and from that point on, the Titans have been dominant. They've outscored the Fighting Saints 6-2 since that timeout. The Saints were never able to come back and take the lead. But there's still plenty of volleyball to be played in this set. The Saints are not done yet. They've got to go on a run right about now, though. No time to dawdle here. And if they can't get going immediately, they are going to see their March trend of exchanging wins and losses continue. Haven't gotten on a streak in a while. Going back actually all the way to February 23rd. Their schedule has LW, LW, LW. And if this score holds, it'll be an L today. Which would mean a W on Saturday. They're at Trinity International. It's their next match after this one. But just the same, they're trying to end that pattern. Got a long way to go, trying to come back here as the serve is away from Lonergan. Monfrey brings it back. And the Saints get the point on the illegal hit from the Titans. So it doesn't come via a vicious kill or anything like that, but the Saints are able to get some momentum out of the timeout. It's exactly what they were looking for. But Jacobs erases that momentum and essentially erases the point that the Saints just got because the lead for the Titans is back to 4. Amber Jacobs trying to put the final nail in St. Francis's coffin. Taylor Valent comes back the other way. Diving play made by Gessinger. Inks taps it over. Nice recovery by Gessinger. Chance for Stephanie Woods, and perfectly placed by Woods. Just out of reach of 2 Titans there. St. Francis continues to hang around. When, though, are they going to make that push that they need? So get to 25 first, or at least a 2-point lead after 25. Powell for Brown. Brown taps it over, and Withy's there to play it. Inks sets for Stefanski. Izette back the other way. Taylor Valent's hit is tipped. At the net, a dive from Gessinger. And the Titans get it across. Free ball here for the Saints. Valent, another kill for Valent. All right, St. Francis called timeout, down by 4. They've cut the deficit in half. Let's see if they've got one final push in them. Gabby Paelmo. Nearly an ace, but kept in the air. Nice work by the Titans. Valent adjusts in the air, hits it over with the left hand. Blocked by St. Francis, returned by IUSB. Brooklyn Withy just misses the line. So close there for the Saints. They were within inches of cutting the deficit to 1. Instead, the score is 23-20, and the serve belongs to Whitney Gessinger. Marchand, hit up in the air by Anderson. And Anderson gets it over. Going towards that back line, the Titans decide to play it, and they hit it back the other way. Here's a set for Inks to Stefanski. Blocked, but stays on the Titans side. They'll play it. At the net, it drops on IUSB's side once again, and a point to St. Francis. So they're back to within 2. They've trailed the entire way here in this 4th set. Came from behind to tie it at 15. They had been down by as many as 6. They're now trying to erase another deficit. Chance for Izette. Rolls along the net. Diving play by Valent, and Valent hits it over. Izette again. Valent again, and a kill for Valent. And that's a big point for Taylor Valent. First, she made the great defensive play, and she finishes off with a strong hit and a kill, her 11th of the night. It's a 1-point game, and the Titans call timeout, trying to protect this lead, which is now a very narrow lead, and walk out of here with a victory. The Saints are 3 points away from forcing a fifth set, but the Titans are just 2 points away from getting on the bus and heading back home. So Jamie Ashmore brings her team aside, trying to get this thing finished sooner rather than later. IUSB 4-2 this season. They got off to a very late start. In fact, they didn't play their first match of the season until the month of February. Like St. Francis and like most of the teams in the CCAC, they didn't really get into their schedule until the spring season. They did not play at all in the fall, and then when they tried to restart the season in January, it just didn't work. A lot of cancellations for virus-related reasons. And so they weren't able to get their season started until February 24th, but they're really starting to get into a rhythm. You can see it in their results. They're trying to win their 5th match of their 7 this season, but the Saints have other plans as they look to tie the score right here. Izette for the kill, has it. And it's game point. Match point, in fact. First match point here for IUSB. The serve belongs to Mackenzie Powell. Paelmo for Pacheco. Taylor Valent. A diving play made by Jacobs. There's a tip at the net. Saints keep it alive. Taylor Valent is blocked. It hovers along the top of the net, and the Saints keep it going. Izette hit up into the air by Valent. Valent tries again, and Valent has a kill. Taylor Valent had 5 kills in the first 3 sets. She's got 7 here in the 4th. She's had a monster game. She's kept the Saints alive, but it's still match point for the Titans. And there's the match. Hannah Marchand finishes it off with a flourish, a big hit. The Saints are unable to return, and the Titans capture the final set 25-23, and they capture the match 3-1. Great fight from the Saints at the end there, just not quite enough to rule the day, as they came back from 6 points down to tie the score. They saw IUSB go on another run to go up by 4, and they kept clawing away, and if this one had been up to 30, who knows, maybe St. Francis is able to finally get over the hump and finish one of those runs off and get the win, but they just ran out of time on their myriad of comebacks, and 25-23 is the final. IUSB comes out on top. Some of the final stats today, and it was only appropriate that Hannah Marchand was able to finish it off with a kill because it was her 18th of the night. Right around her average, she came in averaging 4.1 per set, and she was right there today. She finished with a .220 attacking percentage. Alexis Izette, a big match as well. She had 13 kills. Saints were led by Taylor Valent with 12 and a .233 percentage. Desiree Anderson and Lauren Stefanski had 10 kills apiece for the Fighting Saints, who were led in assists by Hannah Pacheco with 22. Alexis Engst had 16. Mackenzie Powell finished with 38 for IUSB. The Titans were led on defense by Amber Jacobs, 21 digs. Saints were led by Gabby Paelmo and her very impressive 37 digs. She had a really nice night on the defensive end. Lauren Stefanski was in on 8 different blocks tonight as the Saints finished with 11 as a team for the game. Indiana South Bend finished with 7. Hannah Marchand had 5 assists on those blocks to lead her team. Again, our final 3-1 IUSB. They take out St. Francis 22-25, 25-11, 25-17, and 25-23. As close as it could get in the finale, but IUSB does hold off the late charge from the Fighting Saints. This was the end of a long run of home matches for St. Francis. They haven't played a game on the road since February 23rd. 6 in a row here at the Sullivan Center, but now they'll play their next 4 away from home, starting on Saturday as they take on Trinity International up in Deerfield. That's an afternoon start time, 1 o'clock for St. Francis against Trinity International. The next time they play at home is not until March 25th, and we'll be with you for that one as they take on Judson. Head to GoFightingSaints.com anytime you want an update on your favorite volleyball team or any of your other St. Francis news, notes, and schedules. That'll do it for today. Again, our final score, IUSB wins it in 4 sets, 22-25, 25-11, 25-17, and 25-23. Until next time, this is Terry Bonadonna signing off for the University of St. Francis. Good night.